30 years ago, Navy Lieutenant Nick Bradshaw was tragically killed off the coast of California in his F-14 Tomcat. He left behind a wife and a 5-year-old son. Now, at the age of 36, we sit down with his son, Nate Bradshaw. He finally breaks his silence about the Navy, his father, and that fateful day. So, tell me, Nate, what do you remember about your father?
I was pretty young when he died, but I can remember him serenading me and my mom all the time. One of my best memories was sitting on top of the piano, and he's just sitting there playing and singing at the top of his lungs.
Do you remember what song he was singing?
Yeah, Great Balls of Fire.
A Jerry Lee Lewis song, Great Balls of Fire?
Yeah, he could be a real goofball sometimes. He just loved life, and he really loved my mom and I.
Tell me, what else do you remember?
He was a really good athlete. He used to just spend hours playing volleyball on the beach. Something about, the camaraderie of hanging out with the boys just really appealed to him.
So your dad was an athlete, but also an artist, huh?
Yeah, and he was always in this incredible hurry, and nothing he ever did was at a leisurely pace.
So what you're saying is that your dad had an insatiable need for speed.
Yeah, I guess so.
What do you remember about when your father died?
I don't remember much. I just remember my mom telling me that Dad had an accident. And, he wouldn't be coming around. We wouldn't be seeing him anymore. And I remember Pete coming to where we were staying, and my mom just being really upset all the time.
Pete is Peter Mitchell. He was the pilot of the F-14 the day Lieutenant Bradshaw was killed. Mitchell would actually go on to fame a few months later when he shot down 3 enemy MiGs over the Persian Gulf. He was cleared of any wrongdoing on the day of the fatal accident. Do you think the Navy did an adequate job in describing what happened?
I think the Navy took care of what they thought was prudent at the time. Pete never should have been in the cockpit with my dad that day.
So, Nate, are you saying that Pete Mitchell wasn't a good pilot?
Oh, no. There's no doubt Pete was a good pilot, but, he was a hotshot, a maverick. He was out breaking flight rules left and right. His mouth was writing checks that his butt just couldn't cash.
Indeed. Lieutenant Mitchell had lost his qualifications on numerous occasions, disregarded orders, and was put in hock by his commanding officer not once, but twice. He violated several flight rules in the weeks leading up to the accident. He was verbally reprimanded for flying below an established hard deck during a training sortie, breaking a major rule of engagement. So, after everything was said and done, the Navy Accident Investigation Board cleared Lieutenant Mitchell of any wrongdoing.
I think the Navy had their reasons why they expedited that investigation. I think they knew he shouldn't have been up there that day, but they just didn't want to admit it.
Have you ever talked to Pete about this?
No, he's never reached out to me.
So, Nate, why talk now? It's been 30 years. Why do you feel the need to come out and tell your story?
I've heard rumors.
What kind of rumors have you heard, Nate?
Well, that Pete Mitchell might be back flying again. I thought it was time for somebody to hear our side of the story. Nobody's ever asked us. And maybe I can keep somebody else's kid from growing up without a dad like I did.
If you could talk to Pete Mitchell today, what do you think you'd say to him?
I'd probably ask him where my dad's dog tags were.
Go to youtube.com for more of my exclusive interview with Nate Bradshaw.